Hello, this is DataUp Consulting, and for this week's tutorial video, I will once again be going back to Domo for an in-depth look at Smart Text and how to implement. With Smart Text, you are able to insert metadata inside a notebook card, card titles, or card descriptions to help others become more data literate. The metadata that is available for use are dataset information, filters, date ranges, and segments. To further explain, dataset info allows you to display the name, owner, or date last updated for a specific dataset. Filters allows you to display the filters applied to a column or display any filter. Segments used allows you to display the segment name or segment description of the visible segments. Date range allows you to display the date range or graph by dates. You can also add data tables, summary numbers, images, and hyperlinks to text boxes that will auto-update to stay up to date. To show you an example of this, we must first navigate to the dashboard of your choice. Once there, you will need to click the wrench in the upper right corner and select the Edit Dashboard button. Here you can drag and drop the text box to your desired location to begin. So once again, go to the wrench in the upper right corner, hit Edit Dashboard, wait for it to load. You can then come down to this T button here and drag and drop it to where you want it to be. Here, a text box will be open. So we can do, for example, we have an Excel electricity net generation card right here at the bottom. Let's say I want to display the total sum of electricity net generation in a text box that will auto-update with the card. So when the card gets more data, the text in the text box will auto-update to show the correct numbers or the correct updated data. So to do this, we can begin by typing sum of electricity net generation. We can then do this, and then we can say, okay, this is the point where we want to add in the smart text. This is where we want to have auto-updating data, auto-updating information to help further understanding of our display or of our visualizations. So to begin with, I'll explain where the buttons are and essentially how to go about adding them. So essentially from this box over is smart text. So you can add a table. You can make the table as big as you want, as small as you want, however large it is you desire. Once it's created, you will see it auto-generate into the table or into the text box, and you can then independently edit and add that data into each column or row or cell in the table. The next thing is the summary. This will take data from a specific data set, and then it will do the calculations as displayed or as done on the card or in the data set, and it'll give you an auto-updating number, an auto-updating summary number. The next is an image, so as it's explained, you can upload an image to the text box. And finally, a hyperlink. Here you can display a link to a different piece of content on your dashboard, or specifically to an external web page. And finally, smart text. Here you can look at everything I explained earlier, such as the date range, filters, segments, and dataset info. So we can click on dataset info, we can select our Excel data, we can do date last updated, and then we can do apply. So as it says here, it was updated last 4 hours ago. But let's say we want to add, like I said earlier, the sum of electricity net generation. So to do that, we first need to understand how this data is being compiled. So obviously, 181,869 is the sum of electricity net generation for this card. To see how that is done, we can go to the card itself, go to the analyzer, and look at how it's built and how it is coming to that data. So for this, it is simply taking the sum of electricity net generation total. So if we want to have that same number be displayed in our text box, we can then go to summary number, select it, select dataset, and select the dataset we're using. We can then, just like in our card, we have to choose the data to summarize. So we can find it electricity net generation total. And then instead of displaying a count, we want to display a sum. We can use thousand separator, we can abbreviate it, we can even change it to currency, percentage, and edit the amount of decimals. Now, going back to our card, in the analyzer, we have no filters. If we wanted to, though, we could add filters to give more specific, more pushed down data. But since we have no filters on our main card, we will not put any filters on our summary number. So we can click off that and hit save. And as you can see, it displays the number right here as exactly the same as in our card. Now, when this card updates or this data set updates, so will this number. So this number will always equal this number. So the reason why this is good or important is because you can write further descriptions of your data. You can describe how this is important. You can describe why we need to understand and know this number or know this information. Like, for example, we have the sum of electricity net generation. We could then further break that down and say this is the sum of international, this is the sum of national, this is the sum of this specific county, this specific state, this specific region. We can specify and further break down our data to help those who may not know exactly what's going on the dashboard further understand and come to answers themselves on what to do next with this information. Now, say we want to add a data table. We can click the data table. We can choose 4 rows with 4 columns, and we can see right away it's built out in our text box. And in any of these text boxes, we can type. We can make our own columns, our own rows. We can further display our data in a way that helps those who are reading or looking at our data understand. What we can also do is we can add in summary numbers into our data table so we can build and generate our own specific data table that will display an auto update as the datasets update. So once again, let's choose our Excel data, choose dataset, let's choose net generation electric power sector. Let's do sum, and then let's use the 1000 separator. So this is a portion of our original 181,000, but this is specifically taking from the power sector. So let's say we want to do the other side now. So we can do, once again, select our Excel data, choose our count, which is in the industrial sector now. We can choose sum, we can separate by thousands, and save. Now, if you would do the math, you would understand that these two make up the original number. So we can use this to further the understanding of those reading. We can break stuff down to help them grow in understanding of what our data is and what our specific cards are trying to show them. See, for example, this is just showing the total for each year. And this is doing the sum of all those years. So over these last 60, 70 years, 181,869 electricity net generation was the sum of the electricity net generation for everything, which is including the power sector and the industrial sector. But because we are able to do and display these things in our text box now, we can help further understanding and further explanation when it comes to readers and viewers who may not work with this data every day, who need that extra helping hand to further and completely understand what exactly it is we are trying to do and show with our visualizations. Tons of crazy stuff with this. You can write out full paragraphs that display and explain every little detail, or you can write out simple snippets that pull out the most important information that you want those who read to know. So you could write, this is the sum, this is the average, this is the count for this year to date, or for 2 years to date. And you can display data that may not even be shown in the cards, but is worthy and necessary nonetheless. It is a way, essentially, to broaden our data capabilities and our visualization capabilities in Domo so that those who, once again, come to view, maybe a CEO, maybe a customer comes to view this data and goes, okay, I understand better now. I understand what they're trying to show me. I understand what they're trying to tell me. I understand what they're trying to do. This is why I believe smart text and these summary numbers, data tables, images, hyperlinks, all this stuff that auto updates is incredibly important when building out a fluid dashboard. It further helps to display what you are intending to do, what you are intending to show with this problem or with this visualization. Like, for example, with what we have displayed here, if somebody sees, okay, the sum of electricity net generation is 181,000, but where is that number coming from? Is it coming from one place or another? Well, looking at our data table, we can see, oh, this is coming from the power sector, while this is coming from the industrial sector. And we can even copy this, select right here. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Select right here, display it, and above it, write total. So now we are able to immediately see and understand, okay, this is the power sector, this is the industrial sector, this is the total sector. And we can show that in an easy to understand, easy to view, it's right up in your face way. So even those who are not very literate when it comes to navigating and viewing these kind of visualizations, they can still read and understand what it is we're showing. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been of help to you. I hope you are able to use smart text to better display and better visualize your information. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching.